Because I was gonna loop the documents through Zoom too, but he's not gonna be here.
Yeah, well, he can't see anyway, can he?
I don't know. He can, well, I was going to because I can, but I'm not going to. I can.
Oh.
If I join Zoom on my laptop, I can share screen and put him on there for him to see and everyone to see online.
Can I do that nor
Yeah, you
see?
can, yes.
Oh, you must teach me.
Want to teach you? You can do that. All right, so.
Yeah, by the time I learn it, he'll probably be back.
Well, I mean, it's not bad for people who are watching to see what you're looking at too.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I will say that streaming the town meetings during COVID got as funny as they shouldn't have been funny, some of them were, but they were pretty awesome. It was actually a lot easier because I
Was
had
it? Yeah.
very, very little ones and I wasn't
Yeah.
streaming them out during COVID.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was also highly entertaining to stream them the next day during work while I was getting stuff done. I said, what?
What do you stream?
Oh, just
The-
previous meetings. There's the 2020 select board meetings were very entertaining to listen to.
Yeah.
The day after and not the after.
For sure. Yeah.
So I'm watching, that's,
Okay, that work?
It works.
All right, I don't think I can edit.
Can you see if I'm done? You want me to shut the light out?
I'll shut that one light out, if that's all right.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
that comes
yeah,
out.
one problem is I can't edit on the screen if I do it this way.
I'm sorry?
I'm talking to myself.
Oh, can the light kind of shut?
Oh, I
that
can
out?
do it from there. All right, yeah, if you want to shut the light off, we can get going. So welcome to the March 27th, 2024 Comprehensive Plan Committee meeting. Those watching, we shut off a light because we're using a projector that does not have a daylight function. And it allows us to see this on the screen. But you can still see us, I'm sure, with enough light that's going on today. So from my left to my right, we're going to introduce ourselves.
Don Hearn, 33 Murphy's Way.
Peg McDonald, 896 Clarkswoods Road.
Michelle Felicetti, 32 Redbrook Drive. Dave Alves is supposed to be attending via Zoom, and he is caught in a delay, so he will be either joining us or not. We're keeping watch in case he can pop on with us. So last week, Dawn missed the last meeting, and then I was gone on vacation. So basically, we're here just to go over the stuff that was in the email that we talked about and change this first survey that we're putting out to the public regarding what a comprehensive plan is. So I'm gonna pull up the email that we had. So John, you had, I'm pulling up your email that you
Yeah.
had.
I got it written, I've got it.
You got a hard copy to go
Yeah.
by, because I can open, yeah, if you wanna tell me where to change things.
Okay,
So let me pull up the document again.
yeah, there were two attachments to that email.
Do you want me to pull them up, or?
Well, I mean, I've got them here, but it's up to you, it's whatever's more convenient for you.
Well, why don't you go ahead and just tell me now, live edit.
Well, okay.
So tell me where to go.
No, I won't do that.
Sometimes I need to be told, Dawn.
Okay,
Anything in the first paragraph?
yeah, okay, here's what I suggested, just starting at the top where it says Comprehensive Plan Committee. I put an abbreviation, I'm not sure, let me see if I used that anyway, might not be, yeah, I did, okay. I put a parenthesis and put capital CPC there, just to shorten it a little bit.
So CPC in.
After comprehensive plan.
After Comprehensive Plan Committee,
Okay, wait a
in the
second.
headline.
This is where I forgot how to already edit. Sometimes I lose my mind.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh, is
Michelle.
that not a,
Yeah, so I might have to,
Okay, I don't mess up here.
so,
There
nope,
we
it's
go.
okay.
Right there, CPC.
Yeah.
Okay, and then do you want me to change?
Oh, wait, is that just, they did-
Slow down.
And then, where it says, what is a comprehensive plan, I put brilliantly a parentheses CP, run other close parentheses there.
Okay,
Okay, and then just going down the first paragraph, I just said, actually, I made some changes in that. And I did, first of all, I said, okay, first line there, I just said a CP, Change comprehensive, same thing with topics addressed in the CP. I didn't make any changes, didn't suggest any changes to the first paragraph, except for those
Okay,
two.
so for the topics addressed, CP, okay, got it?
And then where it says main state law, I just changed comprehensive plans to CPS, CP go to S.
CP for that one,
Yeah.
okay, got it?
Okay, now, I did change this, pretty much this, this paragraph, because I thought it, actually, I think I added a whole two paragraphs actually,
Okay,
and
where did you add?
Under
them?
comprehensive plan.
under
Michelle.
comprehensive plan, under
Under the main state law establishes new paragraph.
Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Okay, up there.
and that's in the email, I can read it if you want, but
Yeah, read it to her,
Go
she'll
ahead.
type it as she goes.
Oh, okay, wow, that's good for you. The town of Lyman has a CP, which was approved in October 2019, period.
Oh, shit. we're in the- Why am I still in caps?
You can type better than I can, I have two fingers.
Why am I still in caps?
What's going on with you?
Approved
There you
in,
October 2019, period. Much of the detailed data, parentheses, and then it gets a little long here. Demographic, comma, economic, comma, housing, comma, land use, comma, fiscal, comma, transportation, comma, etc. Close parentheses, is based on older census and other data.
let me fix one word.
I'm sorry?
I just did
Hold on one second.
economics.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just. Okay, that looks good.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
S,
I'm sorry.
demographic economics, yep.
Yeah, that just follows, yeah, demographic, economic, singular, housing. Well, I don't care if it's economic, singular, plural, but.
yeah, economic single.
Okay,
All right, is there next paragraph or is,
oh, wait, no, not yet, wait. I was
Okay.
close here, okay. Okay, continuing after, data, the town, I capitalized town, but you don't have to, has requested assistance from, Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission in providing updated data for use by the town administration and the CPC in drafting an updated CP for submittal to town, which I capitalized, voters for approval, period, in the paragraph. Okay, one more paragraph here, new paragraph. And then I'm saying, an updated CP will also assist in revising the towns, capitalized towns, zoning ordinances to meet state and local requirements, period. As stated in the town charter, capitalized, revisions to town capitalized, zoning ordinances,
it's stated in town charter,
comma, revisions to town capitalized zoning ordinances must be approved by town capitalized voters in a referendum vote at a general election in November, period. Okay, that's, okay. Okay, so that's all that's it for that, okay? Next, and the only reason I put that in, I suggested, but I mean, I'm not hung up on every word by any means.
no,
But I thought the previous wording was, a little, well, I thought, it wasn't misleading, but I thought it was incorrect because it seemed to imply that unless we do the comprehensive plan, we can't change town ordinances. But yet, in November of this year, there's going to be I think there's four
Right,
issues
four.
going to the voters, so so it's really not true.
Right, and I think also the thing to let people know, the reason we are redoing the comprehensive plan now, where it was done in 2019, is because we are under a new town government.
And also that data is really old.
Very old, from
Yeah,
2009,
so I think-
2012.
Totally different world now than it was 5 years ago, in a way that it wasn't the
Right.
previous 20 years.
But we had the select board governance before, now we have town manager, so
Right.
even that's changed
Good
how
point.
the town
Like
is
I said, I
governed.
listened to all those meetings
Yeah.
online. I know exactly what went down.
Oh my
You know,
God.
I was wondering if we should actually, can we actually put the dates of that data?
Well, it varies.
It varies so much.
I got the,
mean, I saw stuff from 2006.
Oh,
It's all over the place.
It is,
I think
it's,
the
We
most
just
recent,
had, we just had a national
You-
census in 2020 though.
right, there's no, we didn't have the updated, because we have to get our data from
Yeah, you got the
Southern
data.
Maine Planning, where we have to pay for it,
17,
or
14,
do the research ourselves, and it's never been done that way.
Some of that is census data, which
Right.
is 2010.
right.
Some of it is past, is newer than that,
But not
the way I
much.
read it, maybe 2014. So I didn't wanna, again, I'm not hung up, if you wanna put the dates in, that's fine, but
You know, I think
it's
what's,
not all one date.
anyone that really wants to know and is gonna really be involved in this process is gonna look at the comprehensive plan that we have now with this data that is attached and go, oh gosh, that is really old.
Yeah,
So they're gonna start seeing what we're up against.
yeah, and I just wanted to try to, expand on the wording previous, I have
I
the,
think we can add Peg, I think we can add the dates of the data on the next survey.
Well, I just think it's important that they know that in 2019, when that was redone, that the data was not done at that time.
yeah, if you wanna
no,
work that in, fine, I don't have a objection.
Yeah, how would you like to
I
see
don't
that?
know how we would do that, but, I mean, is it clear as mud? Is it clear as mud looking at that the data was not, I mean, the comprehensive plan was approved in October of 2019. Was that a full review, by the way?
Oh, yeah,
It was a full review.
yeah, oh, yeah, that was, that went on ad nauseum.
Yeah.
So instead of just based on older census and other data, because that's really big, just maybe flesh it out a bit, much of the detailed data is based on no longer relevant numbers, or like something to flesh it out.
Oh, no
Because you said
longer
that
relevant,
ba-
or,
Based on detailed data that is other data, like,
Well,
if
you
I'm,
can
if
just,
I'm reading that as, I used to be a teacher, if I'm reading that as a teacher, I'm marking that out. You just can describe data using data.
right.
So it's
census,
based, is much
older,
of the detailed,
Well, you can take a look at this.
is based on older information,
and I would say outdated.
based on
Outdated
outdated.
is a good word to put in there, for sure.
I mean, even just looking
Yeah,
at
that's
housing
good.
prices.
I think that's
5
perfect.
years,
Yes.
that's
Yes,
outdated.
yep, I think that's perfect.
Is that good? Okay.
Yep, I like that.
Excellent. All right,
Continue or not? Or you wanna
continue
move
on, Dawn.
Okay.
Onward and upward.
All right, well, I don't have really very many more.
I'm trying to
Anyway.
do CP wherever I see comprehensive
Yeah,
plan.
look, why should Lyman update its CP, okay? And then,
Anything there?
and then under that paragraph, I put in, having a state approved CP, blah, 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 without an updated CP.
And
Lyman,
updated?
comma, the second line.
Yeah.
Lyman may lose funding opportunities, period, no changes. And then I add in, also by law, the zoning, add the word zoning in the ordinance. Then I said, is governed by the CP. And then I took out, the part that was in there before, and therefore this task must be undertaken and completed first before ordinance can be deleted, can be updated, which is not really correct as it currently stands. That's just my
Well, you could
suggestion.
even just say, and therefore this task must be completed.
Yeah, I find. Yeah,
That way
I just didn't want to say that you had to do this first before you could update ordinances because we're asking the voters, presumably, we got enough wonderful people to sign the
There's a
things.
talent show on Friday after school, if you want to stay.
I got neighbors, I can get those tomorrow. Yeah, anyway, so, but in other words, we're gonna be presenting ordinances, changes on November, so we don't want to say we can't do it unless we have a CP update, which is really.
So
Which
do you,
funding opportunities?
I'm sorry,
Which funding opportunities?
I'm listening.
there's grants. that could be.
Oh, I don't know.
That
Well,
there's grants that can be gone for like the town for lots of things, but you have to have the data and statistics of your town to even apply for them.
So I'm pretending I have a different political view than I actually have, and the person going, so what? I don't need anything. So why would we care is kind of what I'm trying to sell.
Right. Well, for instance, could there be grants for the elderly population as
Okay.
well as in both populations, not
Talk
just
about me
elderly? If the shoe fits on.
it doesn't fit,
So
but it should.
It's for all demographics, not just the elderly, but also advantages for children that have, homelessness. It's the whole gamut of what the town can apply for grants for the state, whether it's down to trails or it's down to community services for our elderly, which we literally have none at the moment. So that's the when
I'm
someone
with
plays
you on it.
double.
I was just trying to tease it
Yep.
out for a percentage of Lemon I know does not have my same thinking and what
Exactly.
they're gonna ask right away.
Right, and they're usually pretty quick on grabbing though, so I thank you for that, and I enjoy that too. So it gets us there also thinking how someone else is gonna view this. We know why we're here and why we volunteered to do it.
And I'm active with all of the parents at school, so I have a lot of the opinions.
Can we go back there, Michelle, though?
Yes, ma'am. Where?
CP and therefore the task must be completed. Now, also by law, the zoning ordinance is governed by the comprehensive plan and therefore,
Completion is required.
See, that's not.
Not true either.
well, I just don't like this task must be completed at all. I think that there should be something more in line of chronologically zoning should be updated after the comprehensive
history.
plan.
Like, you wanna say like it's relevant right now, basically, like, not that we have to, but it's really on point that we do it right now.
It is, but and I agree with you, Dawn, it's not required that we update the comprehensive plan, but it is chronologically, the comprehensive plan should be done before the zoning ordinance.
It should, but
It can't not, it's not
Yeah.
a requirement.
no, it's not right, but no, I just didn't want it, the way I've read it before, I thought the implication was, we don't do this, we can't change the ordinances, but that's not correct.
Right, so I'm trying to come up with a rewording that would help them understand that that is the way it goes. Or, I mean, that's the way Lee J. Feldman,
Yeah.
SMPDC.
No, and you're right, you're absolutely right, but it's hard to, just as though I don't make it
Anything like that?
too
I'm
hard.
just throwing shit out there right now. Oh,
Where
sorry,
are-
sorry,
where are
Yes.
you- Where are you now?
Yes.
Is that good? I just added,
Read up there, Dawn. It's,
and therefore,
she wrote, also,
30.
by law, the
It's
zoning
capitalized.
ordinance is governed by the comprehensive plan, and therefore, this task must be corrected and updated effectively and efficiently.
to effectively and efficiently update our
This
current
Okay, I
ordinance.
buy that.
Yeah, must,
good?
yes.
All right,
Wait,
Active, it's passive voice, though. I was
Wait a
thinking of active voice.
by the
CP
CP.
governs the zoning
Therefore,
ordinance.
this task must be corrected.
The CP.
I would take out two, Michelle, between updated and effectively,
Yeah, I would,
correct?
correct.
no,
No.
2.
This task must be corrected and updated to effectively and efficiently update our current ordinances.
Efficiently bring our.
I don't know about efficiently. Well, I don't,
All right, I'm good.
okay, yeah,
I'm
I
good.
don't have a problem with that. Okay, moving right along, if you wanna move.
Yeah, I'm just correcting CPs as you guys are talking.
Yeah, CP's, I didn't have, I think the only other comment I had, besides this changing this, oh yeah, there is, where it says, is a comprehensive plan binding, yeah, there, in that sentence, change CP,
Which one?
I said, no, a CP, blah, 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 is a planning document that describes the general terms of vision, period, no changes there. Any binding, I said implementation, well, maybe this is wrong, but any binding implementation of an element of the CP would be, and I took out the words required to be and replaced those words with the word adopted.
would be,
would be adopted through an ordinance,
Yes,
comma, which would
Yes.
require approval by Lyman voters.
yes,
okay.
like
So
that.
it's, because it was not correct, really,
That's true.
Yeah.
Correct, I agree.
Okay, and the only other change wasn't really a change, it was a question. I mean, we can go through these things, but my comment was down on number 6 in the I added the word, okay, and this makes it a little longer, so maybe you don't want to do this.
Where?
I just added the word survey above the survey, which is a brilliant thought on my part.
Here?
No, yeah, right after that, right before we asked,
Yep,
moving the big word survey up.
up
between
to between those two paragraphs.
Yeah.
Moving it up between the two paragraphs.
I just wanted to make it clear that.
What, two paragraphs?
Those first two at the top of the page.
No,
Is it,
no.
nope, down. Is, between Lyman voters and then we ask, yep.
Sorry, I'm a little dense today.
No, that's, and
Yeah.
again, I'm not hung up, if that makes it too long, I just thought it would be maybe.
I can
good.
adjust margins and do fun
Yeah, I
things,
don't know
you
if you
know,
make it or not, but,
I'm just gonna,
okay, when you're ready, I'll make my other comment and be done.
yes, sir.
On number 6, the last bullet,
Yeah,
yeah, I had a question in my, it says if you don't know, email the town and they can let you know. The only thing I wrote in there, and again, this was not to be included, this was a comment, was have you checked, or have we checked with the town manager to see if there's someone to answer an email, since we don't currently have a contact.
right, there's
CEO.
not, so,
I mean, the only thing I was gonna say is,
Can't they just, do we have an email? Conflict?
well, we can just say if you're to reach out to the comprehensive plan, CP.
Reach out to us, we can find out.
The only thing I would suggest
Oh, I'm sorry.
is just asking,
It's a lot of order.
just asking Lindsay whether,
She would get bombarded, there is no one to handle it.
yes, that's what I'm afraid of, because we don't have a seat.
Right, so
And
we
then
can just take that out in general.
we could take that out too, because it is, isn't it, it's on the town website, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you know your map and lot, I mean, anybody worth
And
their
hopefully
salt can
people
do that.
do,
Yeah,
you know,
Well, the only thing is the CEO assistant
well, and she's
spends all her
busy
time
too.
answering the phone, and we were barely able to get, well, not barely, but it's hard to keep
Right.
things going, is my point.
yes, for sure.
Yep, I agree.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, again, I'm not hung up.
I totally agree.
Nope,
I saw
I
it,
agree
it
too.
jumped out at me, but the rest of it, I think, man, I don't know, you can always make comments, but I think the survey itself is okay, I mean, I think it's good. I mean, we can change the wording or whatever, but, it's not too long. Could be longer, but I don't think, if you go too long, you're not gonna get people
You're not
to
gonna
spend the time to
Well,
do
we're
it.
doing more than one survey, and I think that's something to
Right.
remember, is
Just
this,
sort
to
of
be
beginning.
cognizant of,
Yeah.
this is only our
And we
first
said that
survey.
later in the survey.
Yeah.
Yes, we do say that somewhere that, it's just our first one, just to get people feeling it, and those that are interested are gonna get the full, they're gonna call or go online and download the full, I'm just editing stuff, sorry.
Let me ask one other question too.
Sure.
Yeah,
Age group. Yeah.
Those follow the guidelines.
yeah.
I
97
was
to
gonna say, I
100.
wouldn't have put myself in the age group, or like with the group of people that I'm with.
Yeah.
I would have put myself with the people slightly older, just because of where I am in life.
We followed the online,
I just, the thing that looked funny to me, I have to look at it again, is this 97 to 102. It's like a 5-year period. I mean, I don't know if that's what it
but
means.
there might be.
There might be, but I'm saying,
97 plus.
yeah, it's up to you, I don't really care. I mean, it doesn't make any difference.
You think we don't need it, is that what you're saying?
It just sounds, now they look at it, it looks a little bit odd.
So you think we should go to what, 120?
No, I would just say,
Older?
greater or older than 78 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So you wanna
Older
do 70,
Yeah.
one of them marks.
Yes.
One of those marks,
so you want, what you're saying
Greater
is
than
what-
97.
What you're saying is this,
Greater than 96. No. 79
to 96 leave, and then the next bullet point, greater than 97.
Greater than 78. No. Just say greater than 78. That would be more accurate. No, just,
The
The
symbol.
Pac-Man,
Right?
say again.
the
That was
Pac-Man. So now they call it the
Yes.
elevator, but when I was a kid, they called it the Pac-Man.
There is
The
a name.
greater than
There is a name for it. I'm not sure what it is. But anyhow, and just, now that I look at it, it looks sort of silly.
No, it's good.
Maybe some words here, I think
All
they're
right.
okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say turning 42, totally different world than when I was 20.
For sure.
I turned 42 to 28, I was like, live by the seat of my pants and my responsibilities. I got a house, a mortgage, and kids. So I was like, that age group, really, 28, you're not thinking about the next 20 years. You do that
No.
once you become middle aged, you're like, what was I
For
thinking
sure.
about my retirement plan? At 28, you're like, dude, I'm starting to get hangovers, that sucks.
I shouldn't say this, but I think at 28 we had 3 kids.
I think,
You know,
Yeah,
my parents were parents in the early 20s too, but now these age groups, like we couldn't have afforded to put a down payment on a family house at 25 years old.
That's why I'm here, baby.
The economics, like we had to go through 2 houses to have the down payment for a mortgage for a house to raise kids in.
Mhm.
I know,
Like
that's-
28-year-olds aren't doing that. If they're having
It's a
kids,
shame of it.
they're living on state aid in an apartment because they're not making enough money. So that's how I'm like, 28, now they're talking Biddeford, what you talking about?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, you're probably right, unfortunately.
so I got
Okay.
it all. on
All right,
2
so we got it all.
pages.
Yeah, and I.
2 pages?
Yeah,
Can you get it on 1 page or 2 pages?
I got it on 2.
Two.
I
Yeah,
just changed some font stuff and
So how is this gonna be distributed again?
MailChimp.
MailChimp, and we're gonna put copies here
And
in
then
town.
put copies here for people to grab and fill out.
And then, would we get together and collate it, or how would it? It's not gonna
We
automatically
can
collate.
enter the data, we're gonna get a spreadsheet from MailChimp, we get a spreadsheet.
Oh, really?
We can go from there and tweak the data.
Yep.
We're gonna get a graph and a spreadsheet that comes from MailChimp when you
Wow,
get your
very good.
surveys.
Mhm.
So we can add the data that were given from MailChimp to the handwritten ones that are turned in at town.
So does it, do you have to pay for that service? MailChimp?
The town already does it. That's
Okay,
how,
no,
that's how the
That's
emails
part of
go out.
that,
Yes,
Okay.
the filling out to create a survey is done through that, where they already have that. And I was also thinking, it's not a bad thing to maybe ask if the library would mind if we put some on their table when people are checking out.
I would like to
just
have
for
some copies to actually pass out too.
Yeah,
that's a good idea, because the library, I mean, they're doing a heck of a job over there. It's a
they
good job.
are, they're really good at involving the public, so I think they would even encourage people to take a copy.
We send home in folders to kids at school because it's for parents and it's not partisan.
Right.
It's for
We'd have
every
to ask-
resident of the
We'd
town.
have to get permission for that,
Yes.
and.
I'm saying because it
that's-
wasn't partisan is my thought, like it's a
Yeah.
whole town thing, everyone.
It is, I could
That's-
ask, I
that's a
could
good
reach out to Ms. Pellerin and see if she would let us do that for the residents of Lyman when we're trying to.
But how do they return them? Is there a
Well,
spot
on
here?
on the right-hand side, it says return to school.
It does, but I also think that what could happen is we could have a QR code on here, so people could go to the survey online.
That's a good idea.
I get it.
I know, so I'll have them create a QR code that also leads to the survey, so parents that just wanna go online and do it, just have to beep that, and then off they go.
Well, I would make a suggestion, just that I would check with Lindsay before maybe putting them into school, just to make sure there's no, I don't know if there's any conflict or anything. there,
Absolutely.
Because because it's coming,
Yeah,
even though it's coming this great committee, it's from the town.
right.
Did we find out about tax bill?
Cannot do it.
Cannot.
No, too much money, it's a lot of extra money for us to put anything there, a lot.
Why?
Because there's already one that goes in there, and to put extra things in there, they have to hand fold and hand do.
Forget that,
And there's more, it's more complicated than
it appears.
it appears.
Yeah,
So it's, we're not gonna be able to do that this year.
If it's, link is made shareable, people can share it through different, like, friend groups and stuff. We do the
Yeah.
same thing with the.
We do that
comprehensive
at the
plan,
same
yeah.
thing, so the MailChimp survey will go out saying, click on this link to take the survey.
Yeah.
And then you can share it on your social media, there'll be a QR code on the form that's physical. So we can hang it in places as well as people can take it home with them. It's gonna be, so there'll be links everywhere to click on it to go to the survey.
But there's no control if somebody wants to put 1,000 in.
That's what I was gonna have.
I mean, if I was gonna say I got really had a lot of time, not that I do, but I've had a lot of time, and I just sat there and filled out the survey
Well,
over and
MailChimp, you
over
can't do
again.
that because you're coming from one email. It's
Okay,
gonna say,
I
right?
think it does track when you go in, your IP, I think you can only, let's say you've already completed the survey, if I remember correctly.
But I do wanna know.
IP doesn't matter though, I can kill my IP and redo it in 2 seconds.
Right.
It would need to be tied to something like email address.
Right.
I don't know, but
How
I,
do we know that it's from a Lyman resident?
you know,
You're asking them that in the survey.
That's the only way though.
But, I mean, how many people are gonna go out of the way to really mess with the survey from another town?
Well, I do know that other towns you cannot participate.
Yeah,
It makes it literally asks you that question. It looks like a little more sophisticated
Right.
type of survey, but.
right, but what we could do is, again, this is the jump off survey, when we get to the next surveys that maybe are more detailed, we can have it so that I'm sure there is a way even in,
You can have one for address where they have to verify what.
well, then that's
well, they
sort
can
of,
still put it in whatever address they want, too, people
Yeah.
are crazy like that.
that
so-
also makes it sort of non-anonymous.
That's
Right.
Some people,
People
Right.
want that.
Right, I think right now we just want data and see what
Yeah.
comes from this first survey.
I think you
worry
try
about-
and if people
There's just,
are gonna
it's,
cheat, they're gonna cheat. I mean, you know.
No
Yeah.
matter what, even if there was something saying, are you a resident, and they're not, they're still.
how many questions are there, somehow?
Only 10.
Yeah, so I mean, it's 10 questions. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're gonna get
Been
some.
for
When we get
people.
more complicated, that's where maybe we ask more questions like, how long you've been a resident, what is your
Yeah.
address, maybe that's where there's more to it.
Mhm.
Where
Well, it's
we
a
can
start.
weed it out,
Anyway, it's a good story.
because you are gonna have maybe people that are from out of town, but only in here.
I was gonna ask, what about our category residents, the people from Massachusetts?
They
who
can
come-
fill us out,
Transients,
They own
yeah,
land.
as long as they own land.
as long as they own land.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all
The
right,
question asks, are you a resident of London? They're not a resident, they own land, but they're a resident of, say, Amherst, Mass.
right, and the biggest thing for us, I think, was registered voter, because if they have to be registered to vote here to actually, they can have a say if they want, and they, if they own land here, but to vote on it,
They have.
Gotta be
you
registered.
have to be here. But input from everyone is welcome if they own land here.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, zoning affects everybody.
It
The
does.
problem is that nobody cares until they want to do something and then they get
Right.
mad.
Yeah.
But I think our zoning could be improved quite a bit,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
It needs
it's
to
an
be.
effort. It's an effort to do so. So that's where we're
Correct.
struggling,
Correct.
Yeah.
so, to some extent.
That's fine.
We're gonna get there.
Now that I'm done with the school board plan.
We're gonna get there.
We'll get there.
We're moving and
So-
shaking.
This is good. We're done with this, eh?
We're done,
Well, I
so
mean,
all I need
again,
to do,
I'm not hung up on, I just wanted, the really thing I was trying to clarify in my mind was that you had to do the comprehensive plan before you could change the ordinance, because that was not correct.
Right,
And I wanted to make it a little clearer, but
Yes.
hopefully that helped, I don't know.
right. It does.
all right, now I've got this separate from the surveys by itself, it's on its own page. There we go. All right, so that's it, so, I'm gonna take this down, we talked about,
Let's see, what are we talking
and you said Peg, it's back on
What?
LD 1976?
Yes, 1976 is back on the table. Correct.
Let me
That's
see-
what I heard.
Let me see if I can find.
So it's really, Yeah. I don't know, there's really not much we're gonna be able to say about it right now because of course it's just gonna be, like we all keep saying, it's gonna be a watered down version if it does pass anyway.
Hmm.
But
So
it's still not comfy. It's
I-
still
I
not-
know,
it's
but-
Still not,
this is my thoughts, and I talked to Lindsay about this today. So 1976, correct me if I'm
Well, I
wrong.
mean, listen, I'm not up to date on everything, so just,
So they really are trying to, it's growth management.
yes.
And-
That part I think is definitely true.
but it's cross management in a very scary way.
Well, it is. It's like, it's on steroids, growth management on steroids. But a lot of the stuff, like, just for instance, LD 2003, what was it, 90% of it didn't even pertain to us,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And I think that's what's gonna happen with 1976 would be my guess. Of course, we don't know, but I think the important thing to understand is that this is growth management, that the state is coming in, and there's gonna be a lot of people that same thing like they did with home rule, you know, with LD 2003 saying they're butting in on our home rule and all that. But if they make it law, if it passes, then it's law and we have to conform to it. But that's why it's so important that we get people involved. Because we're not here to make the town grow in a way that they don't want.
It would be nice to have controlled growth,
That's
but that
exactly
considered
right.
all aspects, including,
Thank you.
for example, the schools and things like
Yes.
that.
That was my
That's a big-
first thought. I was
That's a
like,
big deal.
It
besides
is.
the fact that I don't want a house where I can see my neighbors, which is one of the
Yes.
reasons I live here. This school's maxed out.
Yeah, and that's,
Yeah.
and that's,
Lyman is, we got data from the district that the high school and Lyman Elementary are the oldest schools in the district that are not updated. Lyman has a larger capacity according to physical footprint, but according to educational standards, it does not have the footprint to house any more than one more classroom of children.
I
It
don't
was
know
like,
where they
well,
put that. They added the
But you think, what
preschools.
grade? What grade are you gonna plop in there and say, oh, sorry, fourth graders, you're out? I mean, what do you choose when you have an influx of kids in every single grade? There's no way to add them, there's no footprint to expand on
Lyman's
IS.
affordable for younger people, so people who are raising kids came out this way to Waterboro,
Mm.
like to all these areas, and then, you know, like, the schools have to absorb that legally, but there's nowhere to put them, so that's my thought, like, I see new building lots, I'm like, why are you building, there's no place to put the kids.
Yeah,
Well, that's,
You'd have
but
to
that's
go
not gonna
temporary.
happen, that growth has to happen.
yeah.
Growth is an inevitable thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It just the only thing that matters is,
How
are you
you
the
do it.
train, are you the engine, or are you the
Or
caboose?
the
That's
bus.
it.
Yeah.
In my head, I think 112 Southwood, right, which used to be a farming community on the west side, and they built without planning the routes, and it's a disaster.
Right, but then you have Poland Spring that went in and made it even worse. So like, if you look at what they're doing here, how they've done this already, they're getting rid of cluster development already. And then they're adding in, adjacent neighborhood. So they're adding in these things, and the hard part is, they're adding so many things, conservative lands, there's getting rid of critical rural area. It's so in-depth what they've done, it's so difficult, because for a small town of lay people taking this on, it's almost cruel what they're suggesting with some of this stuff. You need to have someone who's educated in this, you need to have someone in planning, or people who do this for a living.
Yes.
And you're talking, they're giving no footprint, no layout, no nothing, no roadmap to go on.
And this is what I was talking
And this
about.
is how many pages of
Now,
great,
this is the proposed?
this is the
Oh, yeah,
proposed, and look at this.
Oh, yeah,
Critical
no.
national
I mean, it's very in-depth.
downtown, I mean, you're downtown, we don't have a downtown.
Yeah.
You look at this thing and it's 27 pages. And you expect a town now to fiscally pay for this or figure it out with a lay committee.
Well,
And it's insanity at its finest.
So this is what I was talking to Lindsay about today. So we don't know what this is gonna look like in its finality, for
Yeah.
sure. But either way, Lee J, this is his job. It's his job. He's a,
Right.
you know, it's his thing. So she said that there is some money there. And we're just basically waiting for that data from the state. When was the, what was the date?
April,
April.
I gotta email Tom this week and see where it's at. He said April, the data that we're looking for that would supplement the old stuff should be available for Lyman when I requested it.
so the money, you're saying, would be
This is
for,
free.
to pay,
Lee J, we're gonna get what data we can from Tom through the agricultural
that's
committee.
free.
Right.
That's free. Tom is willing to meet with us for free.
Mhm.
So that's something, when Dave's back, let's plan our next meeting, maybe Tom can meet with us to see how busy he is. We'll do a Zoom with him. And then go over what data he has to see if there's anything else. There might be stuff that we have to do some research on, if it's not fully there from the, agricultural committee.
And then that's gonna, then presumably EJ could take that and
Take the
compile it
information,
into.
compile it into there, and then
Attachment.
that's where, hopefully by then we'll know what we're looking at for 1976, what's really going to go through.
Yeah,
Because when you look at neighborhood standards, I cracked up, I was like, oh, good lord.
It's
I don't know, it was like sidewalks.
You know, the whole thing, like I said, you know, LD 2003, when everybody looked at it, the world was on fire. It's not, it could be very well that they come down and they say, as they did with LD 2003, that this is for urban compact areas and census areas
They
and
can modify those.
yeah, and half of it might not apply to us. But I guess the biggest thing that we should think about is Lee J,
Mhm.
where to start with the
Mhm.
comprehensive plan.
Right.
And she said that Lindsay said there is
Right.
some money.
So I think if we can get our data, talk to Tom, meet with BJ, fiscally, we have this much money to kind of launch off.
Right. And then after July 1, we're in the new one, is that correct?
Yes.
We're in the new budget after July
Yes.
1? Yes,
Yes.
okay.
But is there any money in the proposed budget?
Yes.
for this?
Yes,
So, well, I don't need to
there's
know what,
sufficient, yes.
there's something to cover this, right?
Yes, it was
Yes.
considered in
Yes.
budget process.
Because, you know, because this, not that I don't like meeting with you people all the time, but in any case, this is supposed to be
Committee,
a short, I mean,
short
you
stint.
know, an interim and generate the
Right.
plan and not have it stretch for a year or two.
No, I
That's
think,
too
listen,
long.
first survey, hopefully we can get a second survey, like get a month to get data in. And then the next two surveys in town meetings can come quickly.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, we could be meeting with Lee J and,
Yes, I think that's.
And
And one
Tom.
thing, I think per the charter that conceivably a revised comprehensive plan could go next June to the, not this June,
Yes,
June.
we can,
because it's
Voted on
not,
the
it's
floor.
not an ordinance.
correct.
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 So, I mean, I don't know, I mean,
No,
maybe
you
it's,
are accurate.
You're absolutely.
maybe it's preferable to wait, but I don't know.
Well, I think June would be lovely just because there's a lot to this. I don't wanna push for November because I think we're just gonna miss
Oh,
some keys.
Oh, what
Yeah,
November?
This coming November.
Oh, no, we're not anywhere near
There's no
that.
way,
I mean, you'd be going the next year, which would be,
an off year.
that's
though.
an off year, it's not even a gubernatorial.
I think it needs to go
I
to
think it needs
next
to go
year.
to next
June,
year.
maybe, June, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's worthwhile, I don't know what else to do.
During elections.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a good time to do
We
it, because with, you know, with local, with our, you know, town elections, at least that way people can absentee vote.
It'd be,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, and then, because if we're gonna do maps, whatever we do with the map,
You know, you gotta do something, or somebody's gotta do something,
Yeah.
I don't know, we have to
the
do,
map will have to go to.
I don't know if the map has to, the map doesn't have to be part of this, so it's not part of the
What does
comprehensive
we
plan.
do,
Yeah.
What is,
I
it was a
know.
different concept.
right,
I mean, this is,
but,
remember, this is just, this is a plan,
Right,
right,
right.
which, never mind, don't get that. I mean, it's always the plan and then there's the action, and a lot of times the plan is
Right.
great, the action is not so great,
it's true.
so. That's another thought.
It's just very strange, like all the stuff they're adding in here, and it's like, well, I'm not sure what their purpose is,
Well, I don't know
but
either.
it's just a little.
Wait, what's that
unsettling.
say? Go back for a sec, Michelle.
Which, the farm,
Down. State goals, what's that say?
but they took out A, which is to encourage orderly growth.
And then now you see the key word there.
Now it says to direct new development
Direct.
to growth areas, so they're gonna direct us instead of encourage,
See, and
which
this
is
is,
where it's a little
this is
scary.
it, this is just it, right? It doesn't matter if you do want our town to grow or don't want our town to grow.
They're stepping
You
in
just have to
now,
know that we have to manage it.
Right.
That's,
because they're coming in to direct it if we don't do it.
exactly.
We're
Exactly.
having housing shortages and issues and
Well,
transients and
uh-huh.
and you know, people who need housing, and they're gonna help us if we can't help ourselves.
We're gonna have tent cities.
Mhm. And we can't do anything about it.
Right.
We have to house them.
Yep.
By law.
Be a problem.
So yeah, that's our plan, we're sticking to it. I
Well,
think it's a good
I
plan though.
think you gotta go by steps, this is a good step, and
Mm-hmm.
then see what the results are, and then see, see what this wonderful state does without giving us any help, telling us what to do,
Yeah.
and see how that all plays out.
Mhm.
So, and maybe we don't have to do as much because we're smaller, but it looks like they're almost pushing, towards consolidation.
They have a
Yeah.
lot in here about combining
Yeah.
districts and combining towns and combining services. There's a
Yeah.
huge push, and I saw that in multiple areas in this.
I can't imagine. how
Yeah,
they
I'm just
would-
thinking that like what is needed in Portland and what Portland wants to do.
Well,
is-
it's already combined with Dayton for the fire department. So they're
Yeah.
talking potentially combining probably with more towns, which is crazy for what our,
Yeah.
fire department already does. I don't know how they would do it.
How could they
Um,
possibly?
But and then you have the high school is already servicing 6
Six.
districts, and then you have,
And it needs
But-
to be replaced. The
but-
school's built in
right.
1970.
but then you have these elementary schools, each town has an elementary school. They could look at combining elementary schools, 2 towns here and there, if it's within distance to do it. You look at Northern Maine, and kids are on the bus for an hour and a half in the morning, because that is. the
Wow.
They are
closest.
right now, just
Kids in
because of the
Parsonsfield.
bus shortage. This is why I
Right.
drive my kids. Honestly, we live 2 miles from the school.
Yeah.
And because where we are on the route, they would have been on the bus for an hour in the morning, an hour after school. And I'm like, I work from home, I'll drop them off, pick them up. It takes me 10 minutes.
Well, there's always a
Oh, yeah.
bus not running anyways.
Well,
Yeah.
geez, when I was a kid, there's kids that lived out by Wakefield, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Parsonsfield.
Yeah, I lived in here, and it took us an
I
hour
mean,
in the morning to
It
school.
was a long time.
Gee, when I was a kid, I took the streetcar to school.
Was it uphill both ways and?
It was, and it was snowing all the time.
Combining makes sense where there's a population decline, like my wife is from Jay, and with the mills being downgraded in the last 20 years, like she went to Jay High School class of '97. Well, now it's all combined with another school system with Livermore Falls, because they have a reduced number of children, right? We don't have that issue here. Our population is growing, so it wouldn't make sense to combine schools. It'd make more sense to bust them up a little bit.
Yeah.
See, in this, new growth areas must have adopted local neighborhood standards that enable a development pattern that is consistent with the intent and definition of the place.
Must have adopted.
But then we
Must.
still have town ordinances that have 3-acre minimums and 5-acre minimums. So that's not a neighborhood.
But then you have ones that don't fit in, because you have one for sale that's 1.5 acres, because it was before everything was
We
before
have some pre-existing, we used to say grandfather, you can't say that anymore, so
Right.
they're now,
Yeah,
they're
it's not PC
pre-existing,
anymore.
they're pre-existing. And the shoreline has a lot of non-conforming lots that are pre-existing.
Right.
So, but the rest of it is 3 and 5, so but that's not locked in concrete. I mean, that ordinance could be changed.
They need to change.
And but you'd have to get voted by the voters currently. I mean, that's just state
Yeah, I don't
forces
see that passing popular.
I don't know.
Even smaller.
Well,
We have 27, so we're good, but.
yeah. Just it just depends on, but then you run a situation where somebody wants to split a lot and give.
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot-
that's just
a
it.
part
It's
to
not
their
about
to their
what
kids, and they have
those
9
individual people, you know?
9.85 acres and they're in the general purpose, so they have to have 5 acres. Well, the planning board, because I want a case similar to that came up, as I remember, somewhere in that range, and we have no authority to, it's
It
not,
happens a lot.
you
It's
can't.
not a
you can't-
conforming lot.
We can't change that, we cannot, there's no variance.
You know, when you are
It's written.
faced with the people that are elderly and,
And
like
they
you
want to
said,
stay here.
have 9 acres and can't afford their medicine. But they could sell that lot for $200,000 and live their entire life in their home without having to pay
But they can't-
$10,000 for nursing care.
Right.
But they can't split it because they've only got 4.5 acres.
Because of the ordinance.
Yeah,
because
But
of
So
again,
their whole life they spent and paid taxes here, and then are being told, sorry about that.
but but remember, that ordinance is a local requirement, and it can be changed. I'm sure people would have to be convinced as to why to do it, but
I think
Yes.
cases like that would make your point, because I see that, I'm in that group that's like, I want this to be a decent town in 30 years for my kids, right? So if I'm 95, my thinking is very different than 41, 42
Right.
with kids. And so I think you need to frame examples where that would apply, because in my head, and I know, and I'm not nearly as conservative as most of my peers, I see subdivisions, and we don't want subdivisions.
But that's
But
the
if you frame it
problem.
like the old lady,
That's the problem. People don't think, there's basically, you think of my situation or you think of everybody else's situation. And that's what we're trying to garner, is everybody else's situation.
yeah.
And I've seen those situations in several different cases where, you know what, my son just came back from the military and he'd love to build a house, but he can't afford $150,000 lot and then put a $300,000 home on top of it. despite the fact that he just came back from serving our military.
Serving our country.
Um,
So what I'm saying is those stories are the ones that need to be shared. because the
Exactly.
knee-jerk reaction,
Exactly.
which is honestly, I have myself, again, not being
Absolutely.
remotely as
Right.
conservative as most of my peers in this town,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
is don't ruin this for my kids.
Right.
Like,
Right.
the people we bought our house from, the land from, had raised their kids here. And they sold it to us because they had 2 daughters, and we have 2 daughters, and they knew that we shared the same values of raising our kids outside and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So that's where I know a lot of the people my age are coming from here, like, don't bring this from my children.
Right.
Yes, bring them
Right.
with
No,
you.
I think something else-
But being able to have people that be more empathetic to things like, well, like, I also have my grandmother-in-law is 93, and the only reason she's able to stay in her farmhouse in Jay is because my great-aunt-in-law lives with her, and like, we don't want to move her out of the house she's been
Right.
at forever. Like, I want an
Right.
Asian place in my house.
Right.
Like, I was like,
Yep.
I told my kids, like, the last place I go is to a burial plot in the
Right.
backyard.
So I
Like,
think-
you can have the house for me, but that's it.
But also, you look at, it's like, no one's ever looking for what's happening in Scarborough to happen here.
Nobody.
Subdivisions are going to happen, but that's also managed through the planning board, and
Oh, yeah.
ordinances can be put in place that they
And
only
it
allow
is
some.
not for the faint of heart.
And it's not, it's a
Well, the
long, hard
subdivision,
process.
we
My
really,
favorite's the at least once or twice a week, people talk about the boom that went off, that's my favorite.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
the thing is, so even someone who has, like, I'm in a 3-acre zone, I have more than 3 acres, but, but I only have 1 child, but, it's like, who knows what his circumstances are gonna be or what mine are gonna be
Well,
down the road. Nobody knows what life is gonna hold for you, so to limit and say, we have to keep life just like this, it's looking out for one another, and it's looking out for the community portion that I think is missed in when we're like where we are now. Is like there's not much for people with young kids to do here, so that's where like Bung and us looking at, having a park and
Yeah.
having
You
basketball
talking to
courts
the
and
work from home mom with
and-
no summer help, yeah.
yeah, so looking for, pickleball or basketball or tennis courts and things for the community to do, and old and young can use these courts and things. Right now, we have a jungle gym over there, we have a swing set across town. You have nothing to do if your kids are playing softball, because you can stare at each other because there's no playground stuff here. Every other town has something there except for us. And those things need to change, and that's where you form more community, because when you're playing on the playground with your kids and talking to the other moms and dads.
Oh, that's talking about a lot
That's
of other
where-
parents is at the library or outside.
Yeah,
And honestly, there's not a lot to do on Saturday morning here, and that's your kids.
but there's
That's
not,
so
but there's
true.
not even enough of
But I
it
need them at the
there.
library, or now I
Yes.
need some in soccer up in
Yeah,
sports
there's
because
not
so
a
many
But
kids
there's
had to do
not a
it.
lot of equipment there for a lot of kids
For the
together.
kids, absolutely.
So that needs to change, so that does bring in more, and then families do wanna be a part of a community like this, like, and we never know what life holds for us.
Honestly, costs alone have driven a lot of my age group. Yeah, I mean, like,
But
Right,
let me just say to that very point is something, Dawn, in planning board too, we talked about this a couple weeks back. It's so hard, the costs are going up on everything. It's
yeah,
not
tripled.
just
Our
property.
tripled in price.
Yeah, it's not just property though, it's the idea that
Everything.
building your house on top of the property has gone up so far. Now, Lyman has not adopted the energy code.
Yep.
The energy code
oh
here
my God.
is, once we adopt it,
Mhm.
the price of homes, building a home, is going to go up. It can't not go up.
Who's pushing it in?
What's the energy change, just?
While the energy code,
This is one of the
the
reasons we're
building
showing up
code
today, I wanna know
is
more about
the new
this.
energy
Yeah,
code.
yeah, but who's
The
pushing it?
state.
So that, I assume that means higher insulation.
I think it's
Probably.
45.
higher like bar values.
Is it
and-
4,500
and
people?
more firewalls,
The-
that
the-
can standard
the-
windows,
the-
which
the-
would
the-
become more
the- the-
costly
the-
to
the-
afford.
I know
Oh,
Massachusetts,
okay.
Massachusetts, all the bills have.
Well, like
But
buying a.
It's more insulation,
a-
it's lower door tests,
Well,
it's,
it's also fire extinguisher, like a
sprinkler
fire
system.
brushes, sprinklers in your home.
um,
Hollis did that, you have to install a sprinkler, it adds $20,000 to his
Most of
tiny
them.
home.
You know, that we do have for subdivisions here, we have a requirement.
Subdivision, we
in our-
have to have a
There are
subdivision.
cricket lanes over, grasshoppers over there,
Grasshopper.
deer run.
Yeah,
is-
Deer Hill Road, yeah.
But like
And-
my parents live in a small subdivision in Hollis, and they each have like 1.8 acres, and you really can't see each other.
Gorham, every house has to be sprinkled.
Yeah,
every house. So that's what happened, you
That's the
know,
way
and
it's
I don't
going,
know
I
that,
So people
that
can start fires in their backyard and they
Kind of
haven't even
the
noticed that the 3-foot rule took effect this year.
Yeah, and I don't know that sprinklers are gonna be part of that code, or even I'm part of that code or whatever, but a lot of towns have adopted these sprinkler systems, so on and so forth. And, you know, the blower door test alone that's a big deal, the
That's huge.
insulation, that's a big deal. And what's gonna happen is people are just gonna switch to modulars.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to follow those goals.
That's what's happening in the house right down here, I think,
Yeah.
that was just when I think of it on the right, because I had that way home, just past Clark's Woods Road.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that house is going fast, so much on home.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's modular, and they don't have to follow those codes.
Nope.
Because they
But
manufacture,
we don't have a tiny house code here.
we don't have
And
an
we
ordinance for
have
that
that.
now.
Other towns do. You know, we have the ADUs, but still that, like, the ceiling height is different in this tiny home compared to the
We
ADU.
don't have, that's not part of the current ordinance.
No, but it is.
I'm saying
it's-
that's, it could
It's
be,
nationally, it's there, but Lyman
be.
hasn't adopted
Could
it.
be.
It should.
could be.
You know, because that's gonna have to be, and that was the whole debate, like what's coming up, one of the biggest things was whether to have it owner occupied if someone had an ADU. And again, that also hamstrings someone in their property because you don't
Well,
know what they're
I
against.
would say that, you know, on the ballot coming up in November, the ADU does not require owner occupied.
Right.
You can make a good argument on both sides of that
Right,
issue.
exactly. Yeah, there was great debate on that. And then these are things though, like, you have different mindsets on both sides, but I was listening to both sides and realizing, okay, you know, you never know what you're up against in life.
But if you're doing like an Airbnb, doesn't that become commercial, it's no longer residential?
Not in this town.
Because I can see like renting would keep it residential, but an Airbnb is a business.
Well,
No.
that's one of the things that we talked about in
We
the
don't
ordinance
have
review
a
committee.
short-term rental.
We don't have a short-term rental ordinance, but that is one thing that we're gonna look
I
at.
know my neighbor across the street rents out, I think it's to med students at UND. They're all they're all, like, I don't only know they're there because one time a kid tried to take the corner too fast, we saw him spin out, and I went across the street like, you didn't grow up around us, did you? They're very nice, never an issue, right? Like,
Yeah.
med students don't have time to get in trouble, but.
It's true.
So you're lucky there, then, that's fortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And the guy, I can blame him, very nice, like, the yellow, it's fine, but.
Okay, so what else,
So this
what else
is,
do we
this
need
is
to do here?
interesting, this is state participation, the municipality shall notify the state and local regional planning organization when the municipality begins a comprehensive planning process. The state and the regional planning organization shall work with the municipality to provide mapping for initial public
Yeah,
workshops, including the Department of blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
blah.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Because we don't
Sure.
have that now, but they don't, but it's like, are you paying for it for us? I
Is
don't
that,
think
is
so.
there a money thing there? Cause
Yeah.
I'm not thinking
It
that's
says
gonna
the
be the
state may
case.
provide,
May.
may provide.
I feel like it's worthwhile to try to
Sure.
see where there's overlap between this and the school district strategic plan. There's not at all. I mean, I know the
No,
school
we-
district strategic, but I mean, like, if we're planning how many people we want to live here, we need to plan how many children are gonna be in.
Right, no, and that can't really, you can't really plan for that, you can't really dictate that.
Yeah,
Because if someone wants to come in and have 9 kids, my sister had 9 kids, so I say that.
I live a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Physically had 9.
I know, yeah,
You know, you can't-
two is giving me a run.
You know, it's like you can't, it's like, you know, you can't implement, you guys only have 3 kids, you can only have 1.
Right.
You know, it's
No,
like.
I was just thinking more like capacity, like, let's think
No,
about
we did
capacity.
reach out to the school to have that information for the comprehensive plan, just to make people aware that, you know, we need to wake up that taxes are gonna hurt. Schools are in need, we're already behind the ball for the high school in Lyman. Lyman's already
We
in
have
trouble.
arsenic in our water at Lyman Elementary. I have to, we have to
Yeah.
send all of our water, like,
Really?
Yeah,
no,
you have to do water.
it failed all of the water tests.
Oh my
So we
gosh.
send our kids in with our own water. We have a private well, we just,
Yeah.
and it's up to date, all of our stuff is.
Right.
Like, kids can't drink from the water
No, they
fountains
can't.
at Lyman Elementary.
No, it's all bottled water. It's
And
good they
the
come bottled
upshot is
water.
that, like, I feel like the kids are getting actually a really good education, the teachers are great, like, my 6-year-old reads at a 3rd grade level, so I have no complaints about the educational stuff. But it's like, really, arsenic in the water?
Well, it's literally, like I said, the high school in Lyman are the oldest.
Okay, so what are we gonna do here?
So I'm
Getting
gonna
back to-
submit this to Lindsay, to the town manager, to go out for a survey. Hopefully we can get it out this week or next week, whatever. She needs me to come in and help do it with MailChimp, I'll come in. I don't mind doing that. And basically get that first survey out. I will email Tom to follow up. on where the data is for Lyman.
The agricultural guy.
I'll CC everyone on the email to him. I don't really foresee a reason to meet until we have some data back or something from Tom. Do you guys?
No, and do we need to do anything with Lee Feldman to be on his calendar, or, in other words?
Do you know from ordinance?
He came to us once already,
Yeah.
Okay,
and,
I know he's busy.
yeah, he is busy, but we had asked him about smoothing our data. And he was on board to do that for us.
So I think
Yeah.
until we
Yeah.
have data, there's no reason to reach out to him, because if they're delayed getting us the data till the end of April,
Yeah.
there's no point in trying
Yeah,
to get
there's no- we're
BJ
gonna sit here and
online with us
Well,
until we're
right.
saying we're gonna have data in hand on this date.
Right.
The other thing is I want to suggest, is there going to be a terminal date for the survey? In other words,
I would hope that the first survey, we
Month
can
or
say
something.
30 days,
yeah. a month or
30
so.
days that we'll let it run, and then we'll have, but that will give us time to see what's coming
Get-
in.
see what-
And then we quickly should be able to formulate a second survey off of that. We can kind of add a few more questions, take out ones we've already asked.
Are you going to need any help collating anything?
It should all,
Okay, all right, but if you do,
I mean, if we wanted to put
I'll
200
try to help
handwritten
you.
surveys, yes, I would need some help piling that up. But again, I think it just depends how many people do the manual versus online,
okay.
and things like that.
So-
No, I don't,
Are we gonna skip a meeting? Is that your
I think we
plan?
should probably just skip until we have some data.
So,
don't you think?
yeah, well,
Unless
I
there's
was
a
just
reason.
wondering if we
There's a
should
reason I'll be-
come in and, it depends on how many surveys we get. I mean, I doubt we're gonna get overwhelmed with them, but if we do,
Right.
maybe we could have a meeting to
If we have
discuss
like over 100
surveys.
surveys in 1 week,
Yes.
Post it on Lyman, the happening, and Lyman what's really happening, and you'll get a,
yeah, believe it or not, no.
Really?
It's, we only got, what,
because people talk
160
a lot on
surveys?
that.
For the bug and that stuff, so it just
Alright.
depends, I mean, this, we included the definition of comprehensive plan, because a lot of people don't even know what it is or why we have it. So,
Okay,
So we are meeting, ORC is gonna be the 4th, that would mean that we were gonna meet on the 11th, but why don't we just like tentatively look at the April 25th? If we don't have, that's the Thursday,
okay, so April 25th, we'll keep that one for comprehensive, and then if we
Yeah.
don't have information or
Right.
data by then.
and if we have enough, we'll meet, if we don't, we won't.
okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, I got it in my book.
Yeah, the
It's
next
not the book,
time,
it doesn't have.
what, the 11th would have been our next meeting, is that what it is?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and, cause ORC's the 4th, we're after ORC the week after. So
Oh,
the
yeah,
4th
I
and
have-
the 18th
I
are
have something to
ORC.
do at Funky Bone
On the 25th,
on the 11th.
on the 11th?
Well, you won't have to because we'll.
There you
have
go.
it.
I know, painting gnome house.
Oh.
Did you see that? Oh, they're the cutest little things.
Oh, I'm
Maybe
gonna
we
do
could drink
that.
beer.
I'm gonna do that. I will come with you.
I have, I should take it.
If you wanna talk them into making an NA here, because I stopped drinking a few years
Oh, you
ago,
did?
but we used to go there all the time, and now I'm like, it's no fun to go to a brewery if you
Good
don't.
pizza though, it's very good pizza. But
Okay,
anyways,
so 25th, we're
25th, I'll
tentative.
leave that there, I'll get the survey off, I'll send a
And that was-
copy to everyone tonight or
We're
tomorrow.
staying at six P M.
Yes, we
Six
are.
P M, yes, Dave should be back by then, I will email Tom and loop you all in,
Okay.
Yeah.
we'll go from there, I guess, and just see
All right.
where it goes.
Yes, I like it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right,
Yeah.
we're off and running then, I think that's a good first
I make
survey.
a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, ma'am, I'll go shut her
I'll
down.
second it.
Excellent.
And that, Hadley, is how a town meeting civics goes.
Thanks for your participation. I think you have the,
Please keep coming.
when
Oh,
I call.
I mean, yeah, no, it's,
I think you're the
it's,